This video was edited by Tina Fox. Thank you so much for your help. It looks amazing. Alright, with that out of the way, welcome back to the Mad Bomber Cup 2025, this time with the Hoenn games. If you're wondering why our teams look so similar, it's because the Wheel of Sadness gave us not one, not two, but 5 of the same types. So we ended up picking 3 of the same Pokemon, but whatever. Anyway, we start the battle off with my Dusclops against Ice's Walrein. And of course we're locking the same starters too even, so whatever. Anyway, so I go for a Will-O-Wisp on my first turn. Try to get some chip damage in because I already know this Walrein is going to be a problem. So he then goes for Blizzard, and that also doesn't really do very much. I mean, at this point, like, Dusclops doesn't have that good of a matchup here. Well, yeah. So he goes for another Aurora Beam, and that does take me down. So I then send in Skarmory because those ice attacks, I don't think they're going to do that much. So lay down some spikes because ice doesn't have any spinners. He goes for an Aurora Beam. Does like maybe a third, so I already know that my bird is going to do his thing, or her thing. But now he's going for the kill shot. And it doesn't kill my bird. Dynablade came through, got the 3rd layer of spikes. That is all I really wanted. So I go for Steel Wing. Doesn't quite kill, which is kind of unfortunate. He goes for rest. On one hand, I have some dead fodder for round 1, I guess. So now I send in my Blaziken. And it's built like, it's a double barrel shotgun set. It's got the overheat and the white herb and all that good stuff. But I do have Hidden Power Swampert Killer to put the Walrein down at last. And now he sends in Lantern. So I go for the Earthquake. And thanks to the triple spikes, that is an easy kill. And now he goes for Dusclops. I just go for the Piss Missile, and that is not quite enough to take it down, even with the spikes. Goes for Toxic, and that's like, whatever. This Blaziken is just meant to blow a huge hole in the enemy lines and piss off anyway, so it's fine. So he sends in Gardevoir, and Blaziken and Gardevoir have very similar speed stats, so decide to gamble. I do end up being a little faster, and I take the Gardevoir down. So now he sends in Metagross. And thanks to the white herb, I've got something for Metagross. So I'm like, okay, prepare to die. And then I miss. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm dead. But he goes for Rock Tomb, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, he must have used his Earthquake TM on another Pokemon. So, because I want to have him around for just one turn, I send Vash back, send in the dead fodder. And then he goes for Earthquake, and I'm just like, the fuck? Why? Why did you not use that in the first place? But whatever. Now I know he's got Earthquake and Rock Tomb, so Skarmory is finished off, doing a bit more damage than I thought. I send in Vash to try this again, and the Stampede has arrived, boys. That Metagross is dead. So now he sends in his own Blaziken, and my Blaziken goes down to Toxic. But that's okay, you got 3 kills. I really can't complain at all. So I send in my answer to his Blaziken, get the easy knockout with the Psychic. And now he sends his own Dusclops, which is going to go down to Spikes anyway. And that is round 1. For me, so we go to round 2. This is a single battle lock game, which means no manual switches, but we can still force switches with moves like Roar and Baton Pass. So he sends out Metagross, I send out Skarmory, and, you know, I guess he missed the Rock Tomb, so I lay down another set of Spikes. He's trying to control my speed when, like, okay. Those Rock Tombs aren't doing anything, my guy. What I can do instead, though, is lay down the third and final layer of Spikes. Now, he's just going to burn through his Rock Tombs, and since I can't switch either, just going to have Skarmory do its best. And this kind of just goes on for a little while. His Rock Tomb against my Steel Wing. Obviously, the Metagross is going to win in terms of a power struggle. But, in the meantime, in case you don't know the Mad Bomber Cup rules, which not a lot do, first round is a single free switch. Second round is a single lock battle. Third round is a double free switch. Fourth round is a double lock battle. And then rounds 5 through 7 vary, so to speak. And there's a different lead rule as well. Like, I cannot... That single battle is self-explanatory, but in double battles it just means you can't lead with the same 2 Pokemon in a double round. So, like, if I wanted to lead with Skarmory and Dusclops in one double battle, then the next double battle I could still lead with Skarmory, or I could still lead with Dusclops. I just could not lead with them both at the same time. But, yeah, I don't know what to say. This is kind of the dumbest thing in competitive history. Actually, no. The dumbest thing... Oh, in Mad Bomber Cup history, anyway. Okay, finally that nonsense is over. So, I then send out my Walrein, knowing darn well I can't do shit to this Metagross, but I try to go for a Surf anyway, because... Okay, what am I saying? I really should have rewatched this, because what the fuck? It's in the yellow whole time. That's why I sent Walrein out. Duh, I am forgetting so much shit. Well, the more I think about this voice recording, the less I want to do it, so figured time to get it done with. So he lays down the curse on me, and since it's a lock battle, that's actually a good strategy. I did not see that coming at all, but I go for the Roar to force another Pokemon to take spike damage. It is Blaziken, and I'm like, well, shit. Guess I'm gonna die, because then fighting typed attacks are gonna hurt like shit. And he goes for Brick Break instead of Sky Uppercut, which is more accurate, but it allows me to live just long enough to fire off a Surf, even though it's going to succumb to the curse regardless. So, like, I'm on for a mon, I guess. So he sends out Lantern. The curse is going to get me, so I go into the easy kill, I believe. Yeah. So I sent out Blaziken. Spikes already did their thing. I know darn well I'm faster, so we are going for the Earthquake. And that takes it down again. So he sends out his Dusclops. Once again, not really worried about it. Survives with just a little bit, but I've got the Swampert Killer ready to go, and that is one dead Dusclops. So he sends out... Yeah, I sends out his own Walrein. And my Blaziken misses again. My guy, you are not doing me any favors. What the fuck? You did good despite the miss the first round, but honestly, it's not really that big of a deal. It's just kind of annoying, and it gets more kind of annoying later. But I go for the Sky Uppercut. I knew that Blaziken hit hard, but holy shit. Guess them 3 spikes did more than I thought. So now the Gardevoir comes in. This point, he is on the ropes. I miss again, but Ice misses too, so that's kind of whatever. I go for the first overheat, and I'm thinking, alright, just go for Earthquake and call it a wrap. But Ice hits the Hypnosis, so I'm like, okay, I'm dead. This Blaziken is fucked to high heaven. But this Gardevoir truly makes a heroic last stand for Ice as it goes for Dream Eater, gets almost all of the overheat damage back. And now I'm sending in Cradilly, who in this round doesn't really do anything, but trust me, the Cradilly will start to come through in the double battles. Or in the latter rounds anyway, but spoiler alert, I know. So Gardevoir is pretty much just running roughshod on my team right now. I can't do anything at this point except hope for a wake-up call and another Dream Eater. Yeah, so health fully restored now. And Cradilly is still asleep. And the Cradilly goes down. So now Alakazam comes in. Go for Hidden Power, does nothing. And now he's going for Calm Mind. He's trying to buff up this Gardevoir even further, and not looking too good for me, so I switch to Psychic, hoping for a special D drop. I do not get it, and he goes for another Calm Mind. So now this Gardevoir is strong as hell, and I go for the Psychic, hoping for a crit. And now it's really not doing anything. But, yeah. Gardevoir does get the Hypnosis off, which is kind of brutal in these locked battles, I'm not going to lie. And, yeah, triple Calm Mind, Dream Eater. Safe to say that it is just about done for Alakazam because I'm still asleep, which means I am definitely dead. And at this point, the only Pokemon I have left is Dusclops, and I already know, okay, just do your best, I guess. I'll go for the Shadow Ball, but even I know that the Quick Claw came through and the round 2 goes to me. Holy shit, that was lucky as all fuck. I will not deny that. We then move on to round 3, double battle, free switch, and this was a reminder as to why Sleep Claws exist in competitive. I thought it was just something Smogon came up with, but no, it's actually around in Pokemon Stadium for good reason. Don't worry, all future Mad Bomber Cups will have Sleep Claws. But anyway, I go for the spikes. And Ice, his Dusclops, hits my Dusclops and takes it down in one hit. I mean, I knew it was weak to itself, but still, one hit? Really? Whatever, anyway. So, Gardevoir knowing that it could just put my fuckers to sleep. And like, yeah, I really can't do anything about that right now, so I go for Surf, and that hits the Dusclops and the Gardevoir and doesn't really do anything, so I'm kind of fucked here. Ice goes for Curse, and thankfully though this is a free switch battle, so I am able to get out of that. Unfortunately, Skarmory is still asleep, so I can't really take down the Dusclops for good either at this point, which is a shame. As Dusclops goes for another Shadow Ball, and that does nothing to Cradily, except drop the special defense, so yeah, that is not good. And Ice keeps sleep spamming. And yeah. I'm not able to do anything while he just does that shit. Oh well, it's really my fault for not implementing Sleep Clause sooner. Like, I should have really double checked that shit. But I didn't, so here we are. And Cradily goes down. So Walrein's back in, free from the curse. This bird is still sleeping. Early bird my fucking ass. And Dusclops offs itself to put a curse on the damn bird that won't wake up. As Lantern comes in, and it's pretty much a wrap. I mean, yes, Blaziken destroys that fucking Lantern, but Skarmory and Walrein most definitely do not. Congratulations, Skarmory, for waking up and getting a taunt off at long last. Thunderbolt does less than I thought, actually. Like, it does get the paralyze, so that's not good. Surf's going to do nothing to Lantern. And barely anything to Gardevoir as well. And even though it's temporarily unable to use Hypnosis, it is really too late to save Skarmory. So we're sending in the Tick. The T-Bolt is probably going to kill, and it does, so yeah, time to send in Blaziken, and going for Protect, because Blaziken's going to do the one thing it does best, and that is fuck shit up. So Lantern goes down. Gardevoir is not, and that is bad, because one Psychic and my Blaziken is dead. Very, very dead. And that's exactly what Ice is going to do, as this... Yep, one shot. So it's just Alakazam. It's already used to Protect, so... Fires one more shot at Gardevoir. Not quite enough to kill. As, well, yeah. As the Psychic and Aurora Beam come in. I mean, even at that point, Blizzard wouldn't have killed, so I guess the Aurora Beam made a bit more sense. Could have made the next attack a Surefire. So yeah, now Metagross is in. There is absolutely nothing this Alakazam could do to Metagross. And now he goes for the Blizzard. And that is round 3 going to Ice. Round 4. Coming in. And this time it's a doubles lock battle. So he sends out Blaziken and Lantern, which honestly I wouldn't have expected him to do that, but we'll see how it goes. So his Blaziken goes for the Blaze Kick on my Skarmory, almost kills, but almost only counts in horseshoes, especially when you're laying some spikes down. But then Lantern goes for the Thunderbolt and gets a crit. Big. But despite the crit, it still doesn't kill, so Walrein goes for the Surf. Kind of doesn't even do half to Blaziken. I get that its power cuts in half, but damn. So Ice goes for the for sure kill on Skarmory. Walrein ain't too far behind, but we'll get there when we get there. So I'm already down 2 Mons. We just got 1 layer of spikes down. And now Cradilly. It may have taken until round 4 of the Mad Bomber Cup, but this fucking Cradilly is finally going to do something. So Alakazam gets the easy revenge kill. Now Ice is sending in his own Walrein. As Lantern goes for yet another T-Bolt. And that doesn't even do half, so Alakazam is looking good in the hood. Cradilly going for some free health. And doesn't really do a whole lot to Lantern, but it should do enough for a send-off shot. And it doesn't. Okay. So he goes for Thunderbolt again. And, yeah. I get the lucky miss on that first Blizzard. And surprisingly, the Blizzard doesn't even do half to Cradilly. I mean, I get that the power is halved, but I figured, at least do something. But now, the Ancient Power comes in, I get the Omni Boost, and that is the beginning of the end for this battle. So, Alakazam gives a send-off shot to Lantern. So, no more paralyzed spreading for you. Ice sends in Metagross. Neither of my Pokemon can really do anything to Metagross, so I just use my Omni-boosted plant to give a send-off shot to Walrein. And Ice sends in his Dusclops. Alakazam, I figure he's going to go down anyway, so I just have him hit Dusclops as hard as he can. And then Cradilly coming in with another Ancient Power to not quite finish off Dusclops, but yeah, if that's not overkill, I don't know what is. So Alakazam goes down to the Meteor Mash. I send in my own Dusclops. And Ice seppukus his Dusclops to put a curse on my Omni-boosted plant. So now he sends in his real ace, the Gardevoir from Hell, as it traces Sticky Hold of all things. So Cradilly knocks Gardevoir's health down a pretty good amount. Gardevoir goes for the Hypnosis, hits my Dusclops. That kind of sucks, but at least Sleep Clause is in place now. So, Ice goes for the Meteor Mash, takes that Cradilly down, and now it's time for Vash the Stampede to come in, fire off an Earthquake, does like a quarter Dusclops. The Ancient Power from earlier leaves Gardevoir weak enough to kill, and this Metagross is one shot away. So now, Ice goes for Earthquake. Dusclops still survives that shit. Vash also survives, and that was probably the most clutch thing in this entire cup. Not even the battle, just the entire cup, because that Metagross doesn't have a chance in hell against the second Earthquake. And round 4 goes to the Mad Bomber. So yeah, it's on to round 5. And in a best of 7, if I win here, it's over. If Ice wins, we go on to round 6. But since I had advantage, I chose a single free switch for round 5. And he hits me with a Confuse Ray, and Cradilly hits itself not once, not even twice. And I thought about switching here because... And then it shows off the Hydro Pump. And it's like, okay, I really do not want to throw in any Pokemon to Hydro Pump, so... Okay, it did hit itself twice. Never mind. I'm dumb. But I go for Giga Drain. Get some of that health back. As... Oh wait, never mind. I really should have rewatched this shit, or at least took some notes the first time I looked it over, but whatever. That's the third time it's hit itself in confusion. And now I know it's got a Hydro Pump waiting to blast whatever I throw in front of it. So that's not good. Hits itself a 4th time out of 4 turns of being confused. And somehow, despite taking 2 Hydro Pumps and hitting itself 4 times, it is still not dead yet. This Cradilly really is holding the line right now. Holy fuck. And finally, it does an attack in confusion after hurting itself 4 times in a row. So I'm able to get some health back. Leftovers helping me too. He goes for Hydro Pump again, but Cradilly just soaks it up like a boss, no pun intended. And we're finally getting some good rolls with the confusion as we go for a last Giga Drain. Alright, so Dusclops gets sent in. It's like, I kind of don't really know what to do with Cradilly, but it hits itself again anyway, so it's like, okay, fuck you. But Ice hits that Shadow Ball, and this Cradilly is still alive. But it does go for the Toxic after killing the Lantern. Despite all of the nonsense, it was able to pull that off. So, way to go, Cradilly. Did a good job, all things considered. But Cradilly finally goes down, so I send in Skarmory. I already know this Dusclops is not doing anything. So I go for Taunt to make sure of that fact. So no cursing for you. This is a family-friendly channel, motherfucker. So now, it's time to lay down some spikes. And those shadow balls aren't going to do jack, so... I just keep doing that. But he does switch, knowing how futile this is. So he sends in Blaziken, which very much can stop Skarmory in its tracks. But I'm able to lay down that second layer of spikes. And the Blaziken, that Blaziken, does it in. Wasn't expecting anything else. But 2 layers of spikes plus 1 Alakazam equals 1 dead Blaziken. Unless he switched, which would have been like a barely affected Metagross or Gardevoir. Speaking of, it is time for me to get out of here. I was hoping to get HP Fire or HP Dark to deal with Metagross and Gardevoir, but it was HP Ice instead, so, can't really do a whole lot with that here, unfortunately. So, goes for Meteor Mash, does a bit more than half, but it goes for Meteor Mash again, and Dusclops clutches it up. I love Dusclops. Even if it's not the best competitively, it is still, I just think it's cool. But, goes for the Will-O-Wisp, and that was clutch as all hell. Because this physical attacking monster is now just a wall, basically. A pretty good wall, don't get me wrong. That Shadow Ball didn't do a whole lot. But that Meteor Mash is still going to put me down. And he gets the attack boost, which... his attack is still weaker than base attack. But it is also something I do not want around. And I don't need to use Overheat at this point, so 1 Earthquake and the Metagross is out of here. So I send in the Gardevoir. I already know this is a bad matchup. But I go for the Earthquake anyway. To whittle it down somewhat. So it goes for Psychic. So yeah, sack the Blaziken for a chance at a 1-shot, but he switches Gardevoir and sends in Dusclops yet again. Double spikes are going to do some work. The Surf coming in. And because Dusclops is slow as hell, Walrein has another chance to just, get rid of it. Yeah, he sacked the Dusclops, didn't really get anything out of it because those spikes weaken Gardevoir to the point where I can for sure take it down with Surf. So really, looking back at this, if Ice hadn't made that switch, I may have actually been in trouble. So all he has left is his own Walrein, and yeah, we're just going to sit back and watch as this goes on for a while. So he goes for Body Slam. That doesn't really... well, none of these attacks are going to do anything. At this point, our big boys are just bodying each other for a chance to... actually, no. I'm waiting for a chance to bring in the Alakazam to finish this once and for all. For his Walrein, it is a heroic last stand. Though his normal attack is a better option, since Walrein's by and large the supporter with that roar to use in tandem with the spikes. But for now, it is perfectly good as a side of beef. As I try to whittle him down some more, just burning through moves. How does water and ice burn anything is beyond me, but that's what we're doing. Going for yet another surf. I do have Chesto Rest on this Walrein. Even though I saw his Walrein did not have Chesto in an earlier battle, so he goes to sleep, and that is all I needed. Wasn't sure if he was going to attack or what that turn, so yeah, he's asleep, so it's time for my Walrein to get out of here so that Alakazam can be the cleanup killer that I designed him to be. That, and unless you breed with the elemental punches, it's viable attacks are pretty limited in a regular game play, but he's still asleep. One more shot's all I need, and round 5 is over. And this Mad Bomber Cup comes to an end as well. Thank you for watching and all that good shit.